Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things West Indies cricket. By the fans, for the fans. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another short edition of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. I'm on half of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, Machel St. Patrick Hewitt. And this one, I want to look at Sherfane Rutherford. Ahead of the World Cup, obviously the West Indies first game begins on, get my CCP diary out. West Indies first game begins on Sunday, the 2nd of June against PNG. And actually, I should start off by saying our thoughts are with the people of PNG. There was a horrific landslide in PNG in the last, 48 hours. So our thoughts are with all those who have suffered, are suffering, etc. But West Indies' first game, like I say, starts on Sunday against Papua New Guinea. And there'll be more content that comes out before that game gets underway. But in the last few videos that we've done, live shows, recorded things with me and Santoki, the one topic that's come up quite regularly is the issue of Sherfane Rutherford. And going into the World Cup, and in light of the fact that Sherfane was one of the last IPL players to arrive. Remember, the IPL final was on Sunday, the 26th of May. So that was only 3 days ago. And that final involved Andre Russell, Sunil Narine. Sherfane Rutherford was with KKR, but didn't actually play any games in this year's IPL, but has been in India since the beginning of the tournament. So the understanding is that Dre and Sherfane probably at the time of recording are or should be in Trinidad right now, ahead of the warm-up game against Australia, which at the time of recording would be tomorrow. And it just got me thinking about Sherfane's role. Now, I don't need to have this discussion about Andre Russell, because Andre Russell is going to play in the West Indies team. Of course he is. Plus, he's been playing all of the IPL. He's an IPL champion yet again. He's going to play. So we don't need to have this conversation about Dre. But I went back and I was like, when was the last time Sherfane Rutherford played a competitive game of cricket? Never mind T20, just cricket. And the last time he played a competitive game was on the 6th of March when he was part of the PSL. He played for, what's there for the Quetta or Quetta? Pakistani listeners will immediately get in the comments and go, you didn't say it properly. But he played for the Gladiators. And his last game that he played in PSL for the Gladiators, I'm just bringing it up on my screen again, if it works, was on the 6th of March. He played 6 games in that tournament, Sherfane Rutherford, during the Pakistan Super League. From essentially, his first game was the 18th of Feb, and his final game was on the 6th of March. We are now at the time of recording, it's now the 29th of May. So Sherfane Rutherford hasn't played a competitive game of cricket, T20 cricket, or any cricket in 2.5 months. Prior to this, and prior to this lack of cricket that Sherfane had, and prior to the Pakistan Super League cricket Sherfane had established himself in the West Indies team. So people will remember that we played 3 T20s in Australia. Sherfane played all of them. He scored 7, a duck, and then in the final T20, and remember that was a series that we lost 2-1, but in the final T20, which we won, Sherfane Rutherford was batting at number 6, and he scored 67 from 40 balls. People should also remember that Sherfane Rutherford played in the final 3 T20s against England. And in those 3 T20s that he played against England at the back end of 2023 in December, he scored 29 from 17 balls, batting at number 6, 36 from 15 balls, batting at number 5. And then in the winning game, which allowed us to win the series 3-2, he scored 30 from 24 balls as we chased down the 133 that we needed to win, with 4 balls remaining and 4 wickets remaining. So in essence, what I'm saying is Sherfane Rutherford has played the last 6 consecutive T20 matches prior to this World Cup prep. Okay. And in those matches, he's primarily batted at number 6. Yeah. So in the 3 against England, one of those games he batted at number 6, 2 at number 5. In the 3 games against Australia, 2 of them he batted at number 6, 1 at number 7. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is, up until these warm-up games against South Africa, you would have thought that Sherfane Rutherford's spot was secure at number 6 in the West Indies team. Now, I'll record a video later on this week, possibly tomorrow, looking at what's the likely 11 for the West Indies for the first game, if we were picking our strongest 11. But now there's a big question mark about whether that strongest 11 actually includes Sherfane Rutherford or not. Let me explain. Your likely top 5 at this moment in time, and we can quibble about this in later videos, but your likely top 5 at this moment in time is probably King, Charles, let's just say, argument's sake, Pooran, Chase, Rovman, Powell. Your 6, 7, and 8 likely looks like this. Blank, I'll get back to blank in a minute, Dre Russ, Romario Shepherd. So the blank question mark is, who is getting that number 6 spot? Is it Shimron Hetmyer, or is it Sherfane Rutherford? Or will Roston Chase get in the team to replace Sherfane Rutherford, and Shai Hope keeps his spot in the team further up the order? The overall point I'm trying to make is, I don't know anymore if Sherfane Rutherford's spot is secure. And for those of you listening to this, one of the questions you have to ask yourself is, should Sherfane Rutherford's spot be secure? If somebody hasn't played cricket in 2.5 months, no competitive games anywhere in the world, and prior to that, their spot was secure in the West Indies team, that he'd supplanted Shimron Hetmyer. Hetmyer had underachieved against India, underachieved against England, and Rutherford had taken his spot and performed well enough to justify not bringing Hetmyer back into the fold. Now, Hetmyer obviously has been called into the World Cup squad. Hetmyer obviously played through the majority of the IPL. His team, Rajasthan Royals, also got into like the final stages of the tournament. So who plays at number 6? Do you go on recency bias and say, well, Hetmyer played in IPL? Hetmyer played in IPL. Hetmyer's got some actual meaningful cricket behind him. He comes back into the team. That's option number 1. Sorry, people, some of my throat. Option number 2, well, Rutherford was the incumbent, so Rutherford simply comes back into the team. But if they do that, where is the acknowledgement that he's got no cricket behind him of recent months? Can he walk straight back into a competitive World Cup scenario where we need to win and play well from the jump, and he just gets back in because he was in before? Where do people stand on that? Now, I went and looked at his PSL performances because that's the most recent cricket he played. Now, in PSL for the Gladiators, he batted 5 out of the 6 games he played. And these were his scores: 20 off 13, 14 off 12, 29 off 23, 21 off 14, 58 not out off 31 balls, and 9 from 9. So his run rate overall, roughly speaking, over PSL, without me doing too much number crunching, I'd assume that his run rate, in fact, I can probably work it out. Let's see if I can work it out, people. Bear with me. Let me see if I can. Should have probably had this sorted beforehand. Let me try and work. Let me quickly do some, see if I can do some quick number crunching right now, people. Should have probably had this stat, but I didn't know I wanted to talk about this one. Look at me trying to stall for time as I quickly try to find my numbers. Here we go. So Sherfane Rutherford's strike rate across the 6 games of IPL that he played, he averaged 30 in those 6 games and had a strike rate of 148. So, I mean, those of you who are PSL fans will come back to me and say whether Sherfane Rutherford played well in PSL or whether he didn't play well. He only played 6 games. Like those who played throughout the whole tournament for the Gladiators played 10. Rutherford played 6, right? So, like I say, average 30, strike rate of 148, and that was largely batting at number 6. So the last time he played cricket, arguably, he did the job that you expect. from a number 6 power hitter. Maybe you'd want that strike rate to be north of 150, but arguably he did his job, similar to him doing his job in the last 6 games that he's played for the West Indies. So does he come back into the team? Does the fact that he didn't play, any games in IPL, does that hinder him coming back into the side? Where do you stand on it? That's option number. Anyways, that's option number 2. Or option number 3, which I alluded to earlier. There's this big debate about Roston Chase, whether he should replace Shai Hope, blah, 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 blah. There's those of you who are saying, but Shai Hope's so good at Providence. Our first game is in Guyana. Hope should obviously play. The third argument is you keep both Hope and Chase in the side, and it means that Chase, if he's getting in, simply replaces Rutherford. And it means that you're saying to Rovman Powell, Andre Russell, and Romario Shepherd, you are the late order power hitters. Sherfane Rutherford has to hold a drop, and we'll play both Hope and Chase so that we can fulfill the six bowler option, but we're taking away one of the power hitters at the end. What would you do, people? What would you do? Like I say, this is a short one. Just a little short one. It's all part of the build-up towards the World Cup. I'm just dropping these little short ones to get people thinking. Does Rutherford come back into the West Indies setup? Does he just walk back in despite a lack of cricket? Does Shimron Hetmyer replace Sherfane Rutherford because at least he's been playing cricket over the last 2.5 months? Or do we not play Hetmyer? Do we not play Rutherford? And do we use that spot to bring Roston Chase in so that we don't have to drop Shai Hope? What would you do, people? What would you do? Follow the Caribbean Cricket Podcast at Carib Cricket. We're on X, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we're with the website www.caribbeancricketpodcast.com. And more importantly of all, actually, support us. Go to www.patreon.com/Carib Cricket for as little as $1, £1, £1, one rupee, whatever you can afford. Support the wave. As I've always said on the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, we do this without sponsorship. I just looked this morning where we're currently at number 1 on the Apple podcast charts for the whole of the United States of America for cricket podcasts. And I text Santoki. When I found out, I text Santoki and I said, look at this. We have no sponsorship, and this is what we do. I said to him, imagine if we had more support behind us. But anyways, if you want to support us and you want to join the wave, we're fan powered in essence. We're follower powered, we're supporter powered. So if you want to support the wave, www.patreon.com/Carib Cricket. Everything we get in, we use on putting back out, whether that's the merch, whether that's paying people to edit the podcast, the shorts, the graphics, everything. We don't actually take the money that you lot put forward for our own benefit. We just use it to put it back out again. So join the wave if you want and if you can. Like the video, share the video, subscribe. Let me know. Would you pick Sherfane Rutherford? Yes or no? I'll be Machel St. Patrick here at one half the Caribbean Cricket Podcasts. As ever, we'll be back with more. Join us then.
We rule the cricket world. Now the rules seem coming.
Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things West Indies cricket. By the fans, for the fans.